Because the beauty, all right, because the beauty of the whole thing is just that if you're going to run a presentation and you don't have the audience, okay, so what's the essence? So we just needed to give additional time for people to settle in, because I know people must have commuted longer distances from their workplaces to their homes or whatever they hope to settle in for this presentation. So that's why we decided to give like 10 minutes grace, but we'll have to get started. So my name is Daniel Onwuka. I graduated in 2006 and I studied environmental technology. So today I'll be presented with one of the most amazing personalities that I saw, women personalities in my time in school, in the person of Lilian Okpala. She studied chemical engineering and she graduated in 2005. So today we'll be sharing with you our own point of view in regards to conflict resolution. And also one thing we also need to know that if you go to some places, when it asks them to talk about conflict resolution, so what they usually do is they just come to tell you about the skills, like empathy, listening, and stuff like that. So they are actually okay, but they're not the techniques per se. So what they're telling you is the things, qualities that you need to possess for you to be able to resolve conflicts. But they're not telling you how to go about it and in what cases you need to act. All right, so these are some of the things you might see as well. So, but this time around, we've taken our time to distill several information out there to come up with what would be beneficial to every one of us as professionals. So if you go to some places, the title of this presentation is usually conflict resolution styles or conflict resolution or conflict management styles for successful managers. Okay, and we're all managers in different ways. Is either you're a manager in your workplace or you're a manager at home because you're married, okay, or it might even be in your church, in your parish, in your society, okay, you might be a leader in one way or the other. So we also need this information to be able to learn how to adapt our strategies in different cases for us to resolve conflict. So moving on. So here is our agenda for the day. So we'll be looking at what conflict resolution is improper. So this will also be looking at forcing, win-win, okay. Then Sister Lilian, we're talking about compromising, how to work through the smooth thing. Okay, so that's how to get started. So are we all here? Can we all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So classroom rules is very, very important. Okay, so we'll have a few classroom rules. One, everybody will have to contribute in one way or the other because we're just here trying to share our experiences, what we've done in the past, or what we think we could do. So during the course of the conversation, it's not going to be fine if somebody comes to say what each other is saying is wrong, okay, because I have to say things from my own point of view, okay, it may not be appealing to you, but that doesn't mean that what my answers are wrong. So let's have diverse opinions on different topics, okay? So moving on. So do you still wonder what conflict is? I've termed it in my own term, as in conflict is simply wahala. That's what it is. Conflict is wahala, and you know the finish. That's what it means. If you go into the internet, checking Google and a few things, asking them what is conflict, it's something like problem, a few things, and problem is wahala in our Nigerian terms, in terms of our pidgin English, and it doesn't finish. It's something that is here with us. If you are a human being, okay, and you interact with people regularly on a daily basis, you need to master this skill. It's a very critical skill. There's nothing you can do about it. We don't live in isolation, so we need to know how to deal with all these things as it comes to us. So moving on. So what's conflict? All right, it's simply a situation whereby you have the interest of people, their needs, their values, their goals. When they interfere with one another, then conflict sets in. Okay, so if you want to ask, so what are these interests? Interests are those things, okay, that we look at as individuals. They are tradable. You can actually trade them. They are compromisable, but it just makes you happy. For example, I love traveling. Okay, so if perchance you're the traveling type, and your spouse is the one that spends his or her time indoors. Okay, when you guys are trying to navigate a few activities, then there could be conflict. The needs are the fundamental things that you need. Okay, in terms of security, your identity, what makes you who you are. These are needs. They are more fundamental to us than the interests. Then the values. These are the things that guide our actions and behaviors among people. No goals are the things that we set out to achieve. So these are the 4 key areas where people could differ in one way or the other, then conflict sets in. So we need to know how to manage things here. Moving on. So be it in the workplaces, in our families, in churches, in society, conflicts are there and you can't just stop them. It's inevitable. There's nothing anybody can do about it. All right, so that's why we're here. So most organizations, what they do is they send their employees to different conflict resolution trainings. Okay, and one good thing about training is that most times people feel like, oh, I've done it before. No, if you can go for the same training over and over again, so I can be able to hear the same thing from different perspectives. So that's the idea to it. So moving on. So like I said, we'll be looking at 5 important things. I'll be able to talk about the first 2. Then Sister Lilian will talk about the remaining 3 points. Then I will round off. So as we move on, if you have any question, any idea, any suggestion, please feel free to add that, because if you really wait for when the presentation finishes proper, you might lose track of what you want to say. So if you want to add anything, if you have any question, please do well to say, okay, just unmute yourself, say, I have a question, then I will pause. Okay, you bring your ideas forward. Thank you. Moving on. So the first thing there is forcing. Okay. So here, this resolution technique involves us asserting ourselves on people. Okay, we're not necessarily considering.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
Sir, I can barely hear you.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not so stable. I can barely hear what you're saying.
All right. So who else?
Yeah, the voice is going and coming. So I don't know if it's network.
All right. Who else?
Yeah, same here. Oh, it's not steady, like you said.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
That's gone off again.
Okay. Okay, so it's just a moment.
Judith is raising her hand. Maybe she'll be. And she go ahead and.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Judith, come.
If she wants to, let's go ahead.
Hello,
you asked who else, and I said I can't get you.
All right, just hold on. Let me see if I could swap the stronger network. It's just something I can do in a few seconds. Just hold on. Okay, just hold on. I'm trying to. Okay. Let me see if I can move to a stronger network. Maybe that could help.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
And also managing those stress. What are those things that you think could, actually cause conflicts? So recognizing those stress triggers is also key. Again, trying to stay alert and calm as well. So these are factors that can help us resolve conflict. Another one is controlling your emotions and behaviors. This could help you communicate your needs, to other people. Again, being emotionally aware of your own needs, aware of other people's needs, and knowing how to express those needs to other people. Again, in relation to other people, you also need to note their body language. Again, in terms of resolving conflicts, you also need to be aware of your audience. Who are the people involved here? Are they younger people? Are they people who are older? They could be in the same company, organizations, or associations or group, but you also need to note the differences that are present there. Be aware of the differences. It could help you to construct your words in trying to resolve those conflicts as well. Again, you also need to look at the bigger picture. Now, in resolving those conflicts, what are you looking at in the future? What's a long-term benefit? What is the short-term or long-term benefit? So you need to look at the big picture while trying to resolve that conflict as well. And you also need to note what are the resources available to you to help you to resolve those conflicts. You need to understand, are there financial involved? Do you need money? Would money be, expedient to resolve the conflict? Do you need material resources? Do you also need human capital? Do you need other people's involvement to help you resolve that conflict? Again, what's the time available to you to help you resolve those conflicts? So with all these in mind, having this as a background knowledge could help you work towards resolving a conflict. Again, your listening ability is also key, and how you communicate as well. So these are important factors that can help you go towards that process or direction of resolving certain conflicts. Daniel, I don't know if you're available now.
Just continue in the next 2 seconds. I'm getting ready, just a few minutes.
Okay. One of the things that I still find that is very necessary, there are tips for managing conflict before we go into the main types of conflict and how to manage the different techniques in managing conflict. One of the things you need to know is know your values. So as an individual, what are the values you have? So these are key things that can drive you towards the techniques or methods you're going to use in resolving those conflicts. Again, for somebody working in an organization, what are the company policies? So it's also important as well. Now, you also need to write down or define the conflict. What exactly is the main issue? Because two people might be having an argument, but it's like they're just arguing in the air. You don't have anything concrete that you're pinpointing as per this is the actual thing that we are arguing about. I want a typical example in the family between husband and wife. They could be arguing about things that it could seem irrelevant, but there are other underlying things. So you need to really identify what it is that is causing the conflict, define it as well. Then put it into context of, okay, what extent will this thing affect us? What is going to be affected if this conflict occurs or if it continues to linger on? So you need to put it into the different context. Again, you need to schedule an appropriate meeting time and place as to how do we resolve. Do we need to sit down? Where do we need to, how do we need to organize ourselves to resolve this conflict? So those things need to be put in place as well. Now, do we need to discuss this as a team? Are there other parties that can help us to reconcile or resolve this? Then you also need to look at creating options as well. in terms of resolving that conflict? What are the options available to us? You need to note that. Then you also need to agree on a solution. More importantly, you need to stay calm and be specific. Being calm is very key to resolving conflicts. And like I said earlier, your listening ability, and while resolving that conflict, you can also look at celebrating your progress and successes. Now, if you're able to resolve an issue, it's also worth being celebrated, like, oh, we were able to do this, we were able to come to an agreement, and you can track your progress as well. Daniel, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Please, if you can, check your chats for info.
Oh, okay.
Can you all see my screen now? Yeah, can we all see my screen now?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So Lilian talked about the skills that we need for us to be able to manage conflicts well. So I'm quickly going to rush through the few things that we have. So what I was talking about before, the technical hitches or the forcing. So when we're trying to use forcing method for conflict resolution, it simply means that you are so much interested about what you feel at that particular point in time, without necessarily considering what the next person feels. Okay, that's what forcing is. Okay, so moving on, there are certain places where you can be able to apply forcing, where it's appropriate. First, when all other methods of conflict management didn't work out, okay? We're going to run through the 5 methods, okay? This is the first one. I'm going to talk about the other ones, then Sister Lilian will complete, okay? When they don't work, so you need to force it. You need to force things through and get it done, okay? Then it could also happen when you're trying to resist any form of aggression, something that you don't like, and also when it happens to involve life and death, then you need to make a quick resolution. Then you need to use force, and that is when it's justified as well. So moving on. So a few illustration. So let's take a typical home where you have a child. Okay, so you have like children, Kamsi and Kobe. Okay, you've given them a schedule that, okay, at so and so point in time, you guys should eat your food, read, watch few television or few programs on TV before you now go to bed. Okay, so you have this child. So he doesn't want to eat, but he prefers to watch TV. So he'd be like, oh, Kamsi, what are you doing? Have you finished eating? And he ignores, please finish off your food before you watch the television. And the baby says, no, what do? You just go and turn off that TV. It's by force. Okay, so you're trying to, at that particular point, there's a conflict in, okay, what he or she is meant to do. And the second option I added for us as Catholics is what to also see all the time. In our parishes, the Reverend Fathers come to say, please do not have meetings when Mass is going on. All right, don't have meetings when Mass is going on. So why it became an important point for me was like 6 weeks ago, okay, September this year, we had a few reshufflements across Lagos where priests were changed to different parishes. So it happened that we got new set of Reverend Fathers. So during Mass, the parish priest was so surprised that he came out and saw some people having meetings during Mass. He was like, what are you doing? Mass is going on. Will you get out of that place? One person just stood up and said, Father, please, I've attended Mass in the morning. Father was so shocked that he couldn't believe it. That's false. As in, he was just trying to because he believed that other points of negotiations have come through, don't do this. He's been telling them all the time, and announce it, put it in bulletins and still don't want to. So he's trying to use that method to get things sorted. Remember, Father is so interested in what he's saying as a person. He doesn't necessarily care about what other people feel. They might be right, but at this particular point in time, he cares about what he's standing up for. Just the same way as your family. The more that the father is interested in, the manner